GM Nick Aldis demands KO relinquish the Winged Eagle. KO says, nah, I'm going option B. What if I told you Austin Theory hasn't won a match since August 5th? What if I told you he is on a 20-match losing streak? Would you even care? Strowman and Fatu had fans amplified? And it's the inauguration of the new U.S. champion, Chelsea Green. And I'm not sure what is more patriotic than that. It's SmackDown 12/27 post-holiday. It's 44 dive time. We rolling. Let's do this. Good unit. What's up, guys? Thanks for joining BC on this special weekend edition of Amped Up featuring the SmackDown review for 12/27/28 as we gear up for the big Raw move over to Netflix. But also, hard to believe, we're just a few weeks away from the Royal Rumble. So you snap your fingers, you blink your eyes, it's already WrestleMania season. So that's why this was a really big SmackDown. Not only does it cap off this year, but it ignites any spark that is going to carry over into the new year. So this was a big show. Did it live up to that? Did it provide enough to feel like a big show? That's what we're going to talk about from top to bottom, beginning to end, start to finish. Now, don't get it twisted. BC is sporting and rocking the bah humbug. But I'm absolutely wishing you guys the very best of a holiday season. So hopefully you guys are smashing and staying amplified for these holidays, man. Keep crushing it. And I'm glad that I can create this content and deliver this content to you guys, man. Totally free of charge, mind you. All I ask for is you smash those ups, help out that algorithm. I do appreciate it. Now, I do have to give some special shout outs before we get started. And that is to some super chat, super thanks is from the last upload, JR9, and the NXT roundup from this past week. Also, Renee G. Thank you, Renee. You know that. And Joshua. I appreciate you, Joshua. Thank you for making BC your number one stop for all things pro wrestling when you do make the time for it. I really do appreciate that. I know there's many options and choices out there. So for you to land on BC's channel, the Amped Up channel, that is a huge salute. So, JR9, Renee G, Joshua, this upload is brought to you by some of those AMP unit members, man. Top notch, top of the line board of directors. Appreciate it, guys. And let me give you a proper salute. JR9, Renee G, Joshua. Ain't no way that we kick off any of these uploads without giving that proper respect. That's another level. When you chuck a coffee at the channel to BC, that's another level of respect, appreciation, and support. So I got to make sure that's acknowledged properly. Now, what we're going to do, and all channel members, by the way, Gold, Diamond, and my new Coffee Club VIP. I appreciate you guys, man. You guys are going to have your work cut out for you in the new year, man. Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania. When we do those good, bad, and ugly reviews, I'm putting you guys to work. So it's a heavy responsibility when you're a channel member in the unit. So it's going to be I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a big year. All right, let's get going, man. SmackDown 12/27/28. Big Chelsea Green segment. Should it have been better? Yes. But it's Chelsea Green, man. She's best for biz. She's going to kick off hour number 2. And then we have KO and Cody is the big storyline. And when it was all said and done, a huge match was set up between the two. An interesting venue for it. And what it all means for WrestleMania. So that's all coming up. But the show would start off with Nicholas Aldis, GM of SmackDown, demanding that KO relinquish the Winged Eagle World title by the end of the night. He has by the end of the night, Kevin Owens. And then we go into maybe the theme song or something like that. So that's all I ever ask for, man. Start the show with a hook. Guys, it's a television show. I know a lot of today's fans does not want to listen to that. They don't want to hear that. Earmuffs, right? La, 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 la. They just want to believe. They want to fully believe and invest that it's an actual sport. And we need to find out who the best in the world is. And that's why all these tournaments are so exciting and all of these wrestlers doing wrestling moves, right? It's all about their move set. Guys, that's like 10% of it, man. It's about larger than life characters and storylines that captivate us. It just is, man. The little details are not so little. Theme music is a worlds of difference on if a star is going to be such or not, right? If you think of some of the biggest stars in pro wrestling history, they usually had a badass theme song that really hooked you. It's little things like that. Storylines, man. And you start that by hooking an audience from the jump. Right at the beginning of a show, just hook your audience. Don't start off with a stupid match or the same old somebody's in the ring with a microphone, yapping away for 5 to 10 minutes. Somebody comes down, they yap away for 5 to 10 minutes, and we set up a BS match that maybe we've already seen 10 times before. And even if we didn't, most fans don't even care about. No, you start with a hook. Nick Aldis is just backstage, and he's like, Kevin, you have until the end of the night to get into this arena and give me that title. How badass is that? That's it, right there. If you got the remote and you were thinking about going to something else, you still may. If the show is just not good for the next 2 hours, you still may flick back and forth, but you're going to flick back and forth at least. Whereas a lot of fans usually are just tuning out, and they stay tuned out. There's nothing to come back to. What are you going to see in the main event? Melo versus Sami Zayn? Because that was the actual main event. Nobody cares about Melo and Sami. What are they going to do? Wrestling moves? Is Strowman going to come out to try to get back to Melo like they've been the last month, going back and forth, wins and losses, 50-50 booking one another? Is that really captivating an audience? Answer is no. You guys know that. But this is like, no, you are coming to this arena. You're bringing that Winged Eagle Championship. There is no other option. And if you don't, simple, you're out of WWE. Hooked. Even if you want to tune out, like, you have to kind of see that segment now. This is what I've been preaching for years, man. We need to start shows off more like that. Whether you want to hear this or not, guys, it's a television show. There's just nothing like it. It's pro wrestling. It's what we love. And that's the best part of it. There is nothing like it. When it's done correctly, there's nothing better. I was listening to Pat McAfee recently. Maybe it was today's show. But Pat was talking about the NFL and the ratings, and there's just nothing that can beat it. And he said, except pro wrestling. He said when pro wrestling is done properly, when pro wrestling is rocking, nothing can beat it. And it's funny because you hear the ratings so low on all these promotions these years, right? For years now, the ratings keep dropping. The big thing in the community is, well, you can't beat football, you know what I mean? So what do you expect? But no, Pat McAfee, any OGs out there, BC, we know not only can you, but we did back in the day. That AE, back in that day, it was stomping NFL. Because it was rocking, right? It was literally the hottest thing in the world at the time. I truly believe that, man. There was nothing like it. But when it's done correctly, properly, and it's rolling on all cylinders and it's fully amplified, there's nothing better than pro wrestling. So this just started off the right way. Right from the jump, no matter what happens, right? Even if it's just a bad show from top to bottom, I'm at least going to have that to say I have to tune in for. I'm going to stick around to see what happens with Owens and Aldis. That's all. Maybe I spent a little bit too much time on this opening 1-minute segment with Nick Aldis laying down that demand, but it needs to be given the proper time, because that's one of the areas in pro wrestling television that all of these promoters are failing at, Hunter included, until tonight. So this is something that Tony Khan can learn from. Hey, wait a second. What if we just take a breath, relax, RELAX? What's going to hook our audience from the jump? What can they say? Hey, this is at least one thing that I have to stick around for. Simplistic, guys. But it hooked us. Now we go into the first matchup. This probably lost a lot of the audience, but damn, did these ladies work. It's Bianca, Naomi, and Bayley defeating Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and LeRae in a 6-woman tag. Now, Naomi pins Candy. These ladies worked. As I said, they gave them over 15 minutes, guys. So that's what I mean. They put in the work. Over 15 minutes. These women used their assets excessively. That's all I'm going to say. It's interesting, right? Because when you get like dudes, and we just mentioned, Natty's incredible knockers, or how fine Belair or Bayley's assets are. When we mention those things, you get some fans that are like, it's about their wrestling, not their assets or their knockers. But I mean, they're super proud of them and they use them, right? I mean, you look at this match, guys. Honestly, check out this match. If you didn't catch it, take my word for it. They utilize their asses in this match nonstop. Bayley is literally smacking her own ass. Bianca is smacking her own ass to taunt. Naomi is doing stink face and literally putting her ass into, who was it, Tiffany or Candy? Nia Jax is literally just putting her ass into anything she can touch. anything or anyone in the corner, she's putting that ass into it. So half of this match, it just felt like they were just utilizing their assets. So yeah, you know what? We're going to mention that in the review. And guess what? They're mighty fine assets. They are. They're some of the best assets in the business. Bayley, Bianca, Naomi, Tiffy time. And that's a collection of asses in one match, man. So yeah, if they want to stand in the middle of the ring on national TV and start smacking their own asses or throwing their asses in faces, you know what? BC, old school alpha, I'm going to sit back with my coffee and go, all right, if that's what I got to talk about. But we're not going to act like it didn't happen or act like these beautiful women don't have mighty fine asses. They know it. That's why they utilize it. Natty, she comes to the ring with her bodacious how you doings, just like Tiffany. You don't think they know they have beautiful contributions to offer? Of course they know that. So once in a while, it's okay to just say, hey, damn, that's fine. And if they want to utilize them in this 16-minute match, feel free. Have at it. Because again, they're beautiful. That's all I really have. It's a 6-woman tag. They busted their asses. Naomi pins Candy. And that's really it. The faces then just kind of jump around and celebrate. What are they celebrating? I don't know. It's on a title victory or a title defense or it's 6-woman tag. It was weird. Bayley's like jumping up and down with Naomi and Bianca as if they just won the Super Bowl Vince Lombardi trophy. What is Bayley jumping around for? All the big victories that she's had in her career, she's celebrating last night like she just won the world title at WrestleMania. Very odd. We believe it was Naomi that attacked Jade, but Hunter could pull a little bit of a twist and go Bayley. But what does that do? Bayley then goes right back to heel where she was in Damage Control. It wasn't really working. So she goes face. Hunter pretty much gives up on her. Or at least puts her in a lot of just irrelevant situations. This is one of them. And that's another problem I have. This big storyline of who attacked Jade, but it's really Bianca and Nia's non-stop feud. But a story cannot be they face each other all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Bianca and Nia face one another. Are we calling that a storyline? Or do we call that redundancy? We have to ease up on that. We have to pump the brakes. If you want to have a long-term Bianca-Nia storyline, that's cool. Keep them out of the ring. Now, if you guys are wondering at the end of this matchup, Tiffany was going to cash in because Nia Jax was down and out inside the ring. She had the briefcase, but LeRae stopped her. So LeRae put the kibosh to that. Moments later, LeRae was pinned by Naomi. So I'm sure that's not going to sit well with Nia going forward. Now, I don't see Tiffany cashing in on Nia, though, because I truly believe it's going to be Charlie Flair returning. And at WrestleMania, they're going to do a Queen versus Queen match. Queen Nia, because she was the Queen of the Ring in 2024. I believe that was set up for Charlie to return. And she won that title because I feel that was also setting up for Charlie's return. I'm not saying I want that or that's what should happen, by the way. Every time Charlie comes back from a hiatus, she goes right into the championship run, patting her stats, and she's right next to her father before you know it. So I'm not saying that needs to happen or should happen, but knowing Hunter, the one person that obviously you'd have to talk Ric Flair in that aspect, but Vince McMahon, how high he put Charlie on a pedestal. The only one that puts her higher is Hunter Hearst Helmsley. In terms of Vince and Hunter, again, Ric Flair is the asterisk. That's Papa, obviously. Actual Papa. But Hunter Hearst Helmsley, man, you thought Vince would give her 12 championship. Hunter will give her 85. She'll be the first ever 97-time champion by the time she's 40. But in all seriousness, I think that's what they're going to do, man. Charlie and Nia, Queen championship on the line, WrestleMania. Charlie hoists it up, and here we go again. But so it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Tiffany thing, though. She has teased this cash-in 86 times already. How many times is she going to tease this cash-in on Nia? I feel like if there's a storyline, it has fallen flat. But the one thing that is not flat is Tiffany Stratton. So anytime they want to put her on my TV screen, throw her out there, man. Storyline or not, I'll take it. Just like Carmen, what's her name? Elektra Lopez, man. Where was that? Oh, that's an hour, too. Elektra Lopez was the best part of this tag match. I'll get to that in a few minutes. But anytime you want to put these beautiful women up on the TV screen, man, at least it's something. Something, man. If there's no story, at least there's eye candy. It's sad to say, but I mean, what are we doing, man? Tiffany Stratton is one of the breakout stars of 2024. Ever since she got the briefcase, her booking has been about 12% in the positive range. Her booking is flat, man. You guys know this. She won a briefcase and she's been an afterthought. Toying around with cashing in on Nia for 3 months. Barely getting time on SmackDown. Not even on most PLEs. Very odd. All right, we'll move on. Because I got to get done with this. Hour one, we'll be here all night. Braun Strowman defeated Austin Theory via Power Slam pinfall. Braun Strowman defeated Austin Theory via Power Slam pinfall. If it sounds like you've heard this match or you've seen this match like 100 times in the past, you probably have. We're ending 2024 with a Strowman Theory matchup. Now, this is a good W for Braun, I guess, right? He looked pretty dominant in this SOB. But I'm starting to think Helmsley is purposely sabotaging Austin Theory. I felt that way for a while, but after last night, I think it's pretty obvious, right? I mean, just tell the dude he ain't cutting it and release him then. But just toying around with the dude, you got to start asking the question, can Austin Theory even dig out of the hole that Helmsley has dug for him? Because check this out, man. This has to be one of the worst booked wrestlers in history. Remember not only what Hunter did to him when he got the briefcase. Remember he wins the briefcase? And so Vince put that briefcase on him. Vince saw something in Theory. Whatever it is, Vince saw it. Puts the briefcase on him. Hunter has him cash in during the middle of a Monday Night Raw on the mid-card championship, guys, the U.S. title that he had already held in the past, by the way, and he was already in a storyline where he was getting nonstop title opportunities. So there'd be zero reason to cash in on the same title he's already getting opportunities with and already held. But that's what Hunter did. He had him cash in the briefcase on a mid-card title on the middle of a Monday Night Raw. And he lost, by the way. Lost. And then his excuse the next week was, well, let's be honest, I was never going to beat Roman Reigns. He actually said that. And then Hunter, a couple months later, had him go on live TV and say, I'm going to enter into the Royal Rumble because I want to earn my shot at Roman Reigns or the championship. You just said you couldn't beat him anyway. You had the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka ticket. You squandered it because you said you couldn't beat Roman, so you don't even want to touch that smoke. And then all of a sudden, months later, you're gonna go against 29 other dudes in that Rumble just to try to get the opportunity you already had to face the dude you already said you didn't want to face. What was Hunter thinking when he put all that together? A, he wasn't thinking. Massive botch, booking-wise, creative-wise. Or B, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was just sabotaging Austin Theory, or any credibility that he ran with. Could be either option or both. But let's put all of that aside. Just look at Austin Theory just in the past 5 to 6 months. Guys, he has not won a match since August 5th. That was a tag team match, by the way, against R-Truth and Miz. That was it. Over 5 months ago, or a few days away from January. Next week is January 5th. August, September, October, November, December, and we're into January. Half a year, 0 victories. He's currently on a 20-match losing streak. This match last night against Braun Strowman was the 20th L in a row over the last 5+ months. Now, I'm not saying wins and losses are the be-all, end-all. Especially when you're a heel, you can afford more losses and still save face. But let's be honest, the dude could not be any more irrelevant right now. There was times where I was like, I know Vince wants to push this guy and is trying, but it's just not good booking. And then Hunter said, hold my coffee. I'm going to show you bad booking. And he proceeded to absolutely crush any credibility that Austin Theory could have had. Because that's exactly what he is doing. And if you guys remember, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the man of 3 H's, was not he was not in a rush to try to keep Austin Theory in NXT. Remember when Vince was like, hey, can I have that kid? Or who can I have? And Hunter just kind of shoved Theory to the main roster. You guys remember? Austin Theory didn't do a lot in NXT, did he? Yeah, think back. He did not. Yeah, he was there for a cup of coffee, didn't do much, was not in all the main events at those takeovers, but all of a sudden he's on the main roster. Like Lacey Evans and several others, those are the ones where Hunter was like, you can have them, So he went over there and he just didn't make it. So then Vince was like, he's got to go back. He's got to learn a little bit more, XYZ. So he went back, and then Hunter booted him right back soon after. A few months later, Hunter booted him right back. He's like, dude, I don't want him. I got nothing. So Hunter was always more than happy to get rid of Theory out of NXT and send him to Vince. So just all of these things, man. It's just one of those things where even if you put Theory on a 10-match winning streak right now, would he have good booking? Right? Would it be anything that we care about? Would you care about Austin Theory at this point? I don't think Hunter has any motivation to pull that anchor out. Anyway, very odd. But, and one more note on that. I can't even tell you that I see a ton in Austin Theory. I see something, but just like when Vince first anointed the original version of Drew McIntyre as the chosen one, no, he was not. He had to learn a lot more, do a lot more, really get this a lot more. And when Drew came back, totally different ball game. But the original chosen Drew, no, he wasn't. Stop. So when he anointed Austin Theory as this next big deal, no, he wasn't. He still had a lot to learn and a lot to do and a lot to grasp in this pro wrestling game. Maybe he did and he's just not booked correctly to showcase it. But until he does, I can't put a lot of stock in Austin Theory. So I'm not even dragging Hunter Hearst Helmsley for not booking him correctly. But it is, at this point, internal sabotage. So if you don't see anything in the dude, just let him go and see if he can flourish on the indies. Or maybe in AEW or somewhere. But This type of booking isn't beneficial to anybody because then the fans have to put up with more nonsensical, irrelevant Austin Theory segments. We don't want to watch one mid-AF dude after another. There's something in Austin Theory or there's not. I don't know anymore, So I'm not going to drag Hunter, but just keeping Theory in this role is he's going to be a stone's throw away from the Brooklyn Brawler or Barry Horowitz or any other what we called back in the day jobbers. Who I loved, by the way. They all had a role, right? They were pro wrestlers and they knew their role was to lose to all the superstars. No problem with that. But that's what they were called. They were called jobbers. But I don't see how Austin Theory is that far from that. Moving on. We spent too much time on that, but I just don't know what an Austin Theory is. And if that's the case, I know I'm not alone on that. Then what is he? What is he doing? Why is he on our TVs? Hour number 2. We start with the inauguration of Chelsea Green, celebrating Green's U.S. title victory, and Chelsea dressed up as the Statue of Liberty. She says that next year will be filled with red, white, and green. Michin hits the ring with a kendo stick, drops Piper Niven, and sends Chelsea into retreat mode. Segment could have and should have been a lot better. I fully admit that. It was flat. Michin didn't get the buzz and the reaction that I guess Hunter was hoping she was going to get, but she's not really booked properly, like you could say about 99% of the roster. So I don't know when her music hit and when she came out, I don't know what type of... did Hunter think everybody was going to have goosebumps, jump out of their seats with their jaws dropped? No, brah. So then Michin says some weak words on the mic. I like Michin, right? Mia Yim. But, it wasn't a fiery promo. And then she hits the ring. She takes out Piper Niven. Niven is always just the rag doll for Chelsea, the sidekick that always gets destroyed. And then all of a sudden, Chelsea just kind of scurries out of the ring as Piper helps her out. Fans are like, was that it? But I will say this, man. Chelsea Green is best for business. So just like I said about Tiffany, Stratton, and a few others, like even if they're not involved in something huge, just having them on our TVs is the first step. Baby steps. Crawl, walk, run. So having them at least getting the airtime, at least Hunter knows, or I hope he knows, that is the right direction. Now what we need to do, if you're Hunter or Helmsley, is stop filming and recording all of these stupid promos. Let the wrestlers do that for Netflix and for WrestleMania and for Royal Rumble and for PLEs that are going outside the country. Let your wrestlers do that. Let them be the faces of the company. You don't do that. You're the chief creative officer, right? You're an officer of creative. You're the chief one. You're the chief officer. When it comes to creativity, I can't even fathom that role, right? Look at that. I've never heard of such a thing. You're an officer of creativity. So be that, man. Be that. You can't possibly tell me that Chelsea Green, what she was involved in last night, was the best way to utilize Chelsea Green. I love that they took the time to do the inauguration bit and have the flags, and it was a big deal, right? Piper Niven's introducing her like she's a Secretary of State or whatever you want to call it. A Speaker of the House, whatever you call these things. And here comes Chelsea as the Statue of Liberty. But then that's it. It's like, hey, we got creative with the setup. We have no delivery. We have no punchline. We have no finish to this. Michin, just go out there with a kendo stick. But I digress. Seeing Chelsea Green out there, man. Statue of Liberties never looks so good. Right. As a New Yorker, I will say this. Lady Liberty never looked so fine. Chelsea Green, absolutely best for business. And man, it's wild, right? Last 3 months became a huge supporter of Chelsea Green, man. I see what she brings to the table. I see how she can elevate a television show. So good. Oh, this one, man, the Street Profits. What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? So the Street Profits defeat Garza and Humberto, as if anybody needs to see the same matches, man. It feels like we have seen that 1,000 times because we have. Nobody cares. At this point, it would honestly be more fun if you just take two dudes at the local bingo hall, right? Luigi Lugnuts, take Wally Walnuts, and bring them over to WWE and have them get just absolutely wrecked by the Street Profits. Have them get destroyed. That would be more fun than seeing Garza and Humberto versus the Profits for 12 minutes. Again. But that's what we got. Profits defeat Garza and Humberto. As I said, Ford ended up pinning Garza. Profits are working straight face now, obviously, right? Garza, Humberto as their opponents. Put two and two together, they are working as faces. They're not tweeners, guys. They're just not. Even though the tag division is in shambles, bro. You got DIY in Motor City, in everybody is just arguing and having matchups with one. It doesn't matter who's face and who's heel anymore because it's just random matchups. And the crowd is just as confused as probably the talent is. So I guess it doesn't matter, but they are straight faces. But they have an edge to them, right? Not an Adam Copeland, like an edge, right? But they're still dancing. So they're like moody dancers. That's their characters now. They're moody dancers, right? They got a little bit of an attitude. They're dancers with an attitude. There you go. Dancers with an attitude. They gave WWE, Hunter gave the heel turns to the New Day and to DIY. Why? New Day, I understand. You want to do that on Raw, fine, man. It still takes away the shine and the thunder from Street Profits and their heel turn. But okay. That was, I've heard reports that was thought of months in advance, that they wanted to do that. Whatever. Different brand. Not like they honor a brand split, especially with this new portal. That's just their way to do whatever they want. Now they have an excuse. But then on SmackDown, they give the heel turn to DIY. John Gargano turns heel to join Tommaso's heel turn. But why would you do that to the Profits, man? They were already in the middle of something really organically cool. So they gave it to DIY. So now the Profits either had to be tweeners or they just work straight face. Again, it looks like last night they were going to start working straight face going forward, while still having like matchups with other faces too. But I'm not seeing any tweener here. I'm seeing faces, but with an edge, right? They're a little bit more meaner. All right. I love the fact that they're meaner. Montez with that mug is just best for business. Add Dawkins in, I dig it. I would have dug it a lot more if they were legit heels and literally did not give any fucks anymore. But that's not what they're doing. They're still dancing, after their win, they're dancing. I don't think red cups are falling on their heads anymore on their entrance, but, they're pumping the crowd up. And it's like, are you pro wrestlers or are you just DJs? You ever go and you see a DJ and they're playing their music and they're pumping everybody up? Or are you a cheerleader? You ever go to a football game? The Cowboys have a great cheerleading squad. How am I going to decipher the Street Profits from the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, man? They're pumping up the crowd. You shouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't see Stone Cold doing that, man. When he first comes out, maybe he puts his arms up at each corner. That's it. The Rock comes out, he's going to put one arm in the air. That's it. Right? Undertaker will just look at you, his eyes rolling back. But you're not going to get them dancing or like just going nuts and trying to yeet everybody. You shouldn't have to do that, man. When you truly connect, you can spend a lot less energy. They're going to give you that energy. But they're still dancing. But they're moody. They're dancers with attitudes. They're moody dancers. PMS dancers. PMS. Dancers with PMS. It's that time of the month for Ford and Dawkins. I like them. I really had high hopes that this was going to work out good. But Hunter, once again, Hunter is showing you he's probably pissed off that Ford said what he said and wants more, and wants not just titles, but like to be mentioned and to be involved in storylines. And that was very real from Ford. That became a big thing. And so they put it in the storyline, and they go right into a title match, right, with Motor City. But Hunter doesn't give it to him. And then Hunter doesn't give him the full heel turn. And then Hunter puts him in weird matches like this with Garza and Humberto and thinks that, hey, just because we gave him a win, that'll shut everybody up. See, Street Profits are just fine. They got to win. I was never concerned with wins and losses with Street Profits. I was concerned with, do we care about them? Ford told you he is concerned with, do we care about them? The answer is no, unfortunately. That's what's a shame. And that's where Hunter Hearst Helmsley needs to wake up on that. Montez is way too damn good. Way too good. Dude could be a single star right now, but he wants to stay in this tag team. Dawkins has improved so much. I'm cool with this as a tag team. This ain't it. So now they're dancing with attitude, guys. All right. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how this new face run with more of an attitude. Maybe they'll throw titles on him in the future. That's a plus. But is the booking going to back them? We've seen Hunter throw championships on many people, and then immediately the booking gets worse. So it's almost like the titles are acting like an anchor, and it's a detriment instead of being helpful. We'll see. Profits dancing their way to a W. Sami Zayn then defeated Melo via DQ. Braun Strowman chased off Melo, but before the ref could count to 10, because Braun had him up in a power slam in the aisleway, but Melo was able to escape. So the ref didn't call for a DQ, kept counting the count out. I think he was at like 8 or 9 maybe. The bootleg bloodline get in the ring, and they take out Samuel Zayn. So at that point, the referee called for the bell. That's the DQ. Melo is DQ'd. Melo loses another matchup. All Melo does is miss. That's his new catchphrase. And the bootleg bloodline attacks Sami. Now, Strowman would return to the ring, and we have an amplified stare down between Strowman and Fatu, Jacob Fatu. And I'm telling you guys, this was... It makes you remember that heavyweight matchups still give us the goosebumps, right? And while it's cute to say that, the size doesn't matter in these wrestlers, because a lot of them are very tiny. A lot of them are like 5'7", 5'8", 5'9", $170 soaking wet. And I get it, right? Okay, they're not all just gargantuans anymore. They're not hopped up on a lot of substances. I get it. So cool. A lot of these wrestlers today were the fans from decades ago, and they just became wrestlers. And a lot of the fans are not too big, They don't. A lot of them don't go to the gym, and they just want to do in the ring what they did growing up on the trampoline in the backyard of their parents' house, and that's cool, whatever. But the problem is when it's too much, right? And you see in a lot of these promotions, it's too many little wrestlers. And as much as we respect them and we get some, we start to fantasy book some matchups and say that would be a good match, man. Oh, could you imagine that match? And you can start to put together, Melo and Montez, man, if they give them 25 minutes, right? Like we used to do, man. Ali and Ricochet, man, right? And it's cute to say all these little matchups where they can do all their moves. But none of them give us goosebumps. None of us make us go, damn. And here it is, Strowman, who has not had good booking since his inception in WWE, let's be honest. Vince gave him good, but then it would be on and off, right? Green light, red light booking. He'd give him 2 inches, take him back a mile. But for all intents and purposes, Braun Strowman, the booking doesn't jump out at you. And that's been a detriment for Strowman. Fatu's still newer. He's starting to get into things where we're kind of like, hey, that'd be cool. But it's an organic moment last night that happened, right? Strowman turns around and Fatu is looking at him. Now, on paper, if you just hear BC going, Strowman and Fatu ended the segment, you probably wouldn't think much of it. But guys, it was so just, it's an organic moment where it's just like, oh, fuck, that's good. Like, I kind of want to see that. I don't know why. Strowman turns around and him and Fatu are staring, and the crowd is on their feet. Jaws drop, like, yes. The crowd is amplified. Even BC's like, okay, that's pretty good. And that's what I mean about why booking matters, right? Because I've seen Strowman rolled up by people like Little Ricochet. Like, what are we witnessing? Strowman wouldn't be held down by these dudes 30% of his size. You know, and that hurts Strowman going forward because it hurts his credibility and his believability. But even with all of that past booking, there's still something about that moment when Strowman and Fatu were staring where I'm like, I need to see these gargantuans collide. And the rest of the crowd felt the same way. And again, I put it in my notes. It was one of those moments where you remember heavyweight matchups are still the matchups that give us the goosebumps. So when it comes down to it, I guess what I'm saying is, yes, the size does matter. And these pro wrestlers do. It helps if you just look like you are a pro wrestler. Big, with muscles, and that you can carry people, put them up over your head, and chuck them into the third row. Hulk Hogan, Rocky status. It helps, that's all. They don't all have to be huge. But damn. That was one of those moments. You don't get them often. Where it's like, yep, that match, book it. Fatu and Strowman had everybody amplified. Pretty damn cool, man. The bloodline would end up standing tall at the end of this. I think Melo would jump back in the ring, take out the leg of Strowman before him and Fatu could even go at it. So Melo drops Strowman. Sami's taken out. Bootleg bloodline holds up the fake ones. And then Owens comes out as we go to commercial. So we're setting up for the big Owens-Aldis confrontation. But, yeah, Fatu and Strowman, man. Probably the moment of the night. Can't believe I'm saying that. That was well done. Salute. So then, as I said, the night's going to end with Aldis and Owens ending the show. Owens refuses to relinquish that Winged Eagle Championship, which Aldis is demanding. So Aldis is like, I don't think you understand. This wasn't an option. It's handed over or you're out of WWE. So Owens is like, no, not until I get my rematch. I am the deserving and actual champion. I want my rematch. So here comes Cody Rhodes. Cody comes down. Cody is pissed off. Cody says, all right, let's do this then. You put the Winged Eagle Championship way up high. I'll put this title way up high. A ladder match. And Nick Aldis agrees upon it. And he says, not at Netflix's Raw debut, but we're going to do this at the Royal Rumble. Owens goes for some mutual respect shaking of the hands. Cody wants nothing to do with him, so Owens gives him a cheap shot right on that bad neck that he dropped with that pile driver after Saturday night's main event. Aldis was great. Aldis jumped immediately, simultaneously as Owens is hitting him. Aldis is already in the air trying to save Cody and jumps on him to protect him. So Aldis was great. I hope this doesn't end without getting Owens and Aldis. They have something really special going on. Aldis says he does want to do some matchups if he's allowed to. There you go, man. Owens, Aldis, the ultimate authority versus the defiant, rebellious wrestler, the bad guy. Owens and Aldis, man. Instead, we have at Saturday night's main event, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley pushing Owens. Why does Helmsley have to be involved in all of this, man? We know he can't wrestle. He's got a gimmick in his chest. So let Aldis be in that role. That should have been Aldis pushing Owens at Saturday night's main event. But I really hope it does lead to that. Aldis has been just brilliant with all this. So, okay, the matchup is made. Now we fade to black. We go off the air with Cody Rhodes again, hitting the neck by Owens. Owens is yelling he's going to win the championship. Aldis is trying to protect Cody. We go off the air. Okay, so you got the match at Rumble. I'm down with it. Ladder match, one more time. Cody, Owens, whatever. The big selling point is the two Royal Rumble matchups. Everything else, icing on the cake. The issue I have is how this affects Randall Orton. If you ask BC, the match to make for that championship at Mania, it's a one-on-one, champion versus challenger, Cody versus Randy, teacher versus student, basically. And legacy implodes, right? Randy, Cody, the story is already sitting in their lap. There's no better stage than Mania. We're waiting for Randy's return anyway. But what this tells BC at the Rumble, this is somehow going to lead to a triple threat, isn't it? And at Mania, we're going to get Cody versus Randy versus KO. So we're going to drag this out until April or March, April, whatever it is. Guys, much love and respect to Owens. He's been doing this role beautifully. I'm okay with it. I'm down with the match at Rumble. There's no business that Owens has with Cody and Randy. That is their thing. That is their matchup. A triple threat for the world. Seriously, man? Come on. Cody versus Randy one-on-one. Let's do this. Owens is just going to muddy the waters, guys. And I already can see how that's going to be booked. But something tells me that's where we're leading to. I still have my questions on if Randy and Owens truly had that beef. That one pile driver took Randy out for months. A more devastating pile driver on Cody took him out for a week. So I don't know. Is Randy Orton and KO still are they in cahoots maybe? But still, I think this is going to now go to a triple threat. I really hope if that's the case that Hunter changes his mind on this. Think about this, man. Cody and Randy sells itself. It's the much bigger match than a triple threat. That's what I got for you guys, man. 12/27/28 SmackDown's review on the Amped Up Weekend Edition show. Until next time, and there will be that next time. We are headed into the new year, guys. I don't think we're done yet, though, for this year. There's going to be more content early next week. The last Raw for not just the year, the last Raw on the USA Network is Monday, guys. So we're going to do something big for Monday. Stay locked on the channel. I have something special planned. Maybe we can do a live. But that's going to be the last one ever. I can't even fathom that, dude. And then it's off to the races. January begins. It's the big move to Netflix. It's the Rumble. It's WrestleMania season, man. Business, JR used to say, business is about to pick up. That's what I got, man. 44 dive. That's a wrap. BC in the unit saying, check you. Salute. Let me give a proper salute. Happy holidays. Post Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. New Year coming up. Unit. Keep rocking out. Salute.